Hey everybody, Austin here for the late August, early September Worship Catalyst update. I'm excited to talk about 4 things today, okay? And 3 of them are international, and 1 of them is right here in Jacksonville, Florida. So the first thing I want to talk about is Uganda. Never talked about that before, but I just wanted to kind of introduce you just to a name, Isaac Bwire. I've been mentoring this guy. He reached out to me a few months ago. He goes out into villages all over near his town, and he teaches pastors and worship leaders on worship. And it's a really cool thing that he does. And when he reached out to me, I was like, "You're already doing this. What do you need?" And he goes, "Nobody's ever trained me." So he just finds things that are valuable. He's a really smart guy, and he puts them together and he goes and teaches. And so it's cool that we're getting to kind of provide him with this burst of energy and training and mentoring so that he can go out and make an even bigger difference all over his part of Uganda. Second, I want to talk about Africa, Ivory Coast in West Africa. And I'm going to be leaving in a couple of weeks to go out there and spend about 10 or 11 days. And let me tell you what's different about this trip. I am going to be teaching in seminary, but look at this video. This is me just today, as I'm filming this, having my last get-together with the 3 worship leaders I've been mentoring for about the last year. And I've been training them and teaching them and mentoring them. And when I go there here in a few weeks, I'm going to just sit there with them and just encourage them and bless them as they do the teaching. We'll go from church to church to church to church to church, and they get to do that. And during the days, I'm going to be teaching in a seminary, a full course on worship. But at nights, we're going to get to see these guys. And this is the vision, that we invest in people who invest in a lot of people who invest in more people and all that. So it's starting to happen. The third country I want to talk about right now is Guatemala. Here's a picture of some people on a Zoom call. These 3 worship leaders are in 3 different towns in Guatemala, and I'm going to begin investing in them in October, getting them prepared to start to expand and spread Worship Catalyst all through Guatemala. So early steps of that, but we're excited that we have identified the great leaders. And so I wanted to share those 3 international stories with you. God is really opening up some great doors, and I've had more conversations. Oh, one more. India, check this out. Look at this picture of me and about 15 or 20 leaders. Some of these are pastors, some of these are worship leaders, but over the next few months, I'm going to begin doing some training and some mentoring with worship leaders in northern India and some in southern India. And then hopefully in 2024, maybe get a chance to go and hang out with those guys with the goal of that they've started thousands of house churches and building churches. I don't know what you call those. They're not a house church. They're like a church with a building, a space. And legacy churches is actually the technical name. But anyway, they're planning all kinds of churches. And we're going to get to put Worship Catalyst principles and training into their process. And so this is very early stage with India, but so super excited you can be praying about that. And then finally, I wanted to introduce you, if you haven't met him, to Stephen Handley. He's going to talk to you for just a second here, and he's going to talk to you about some of the things that he's doing in Jacksonville as our local Jacksonville connector. And so listen, every time that you give, every time that you pray, you're supporting these people that we've shown you all over the world and making it possible for us to make a difference in their lives and their churches so that they can make a difference in tons of other churches. God's doing so much through you. Thank you for being a part of it. And stick around for another 60 seconds and watch Stephen. And I'll talk to you next month. God bless you.
Hey guys, my name is Stephen Handley. I am the City Connector here in Jacksonville, Florida for Worship Catalyst. Just want to take a second just to share a couple of things that are really exciting happening in the city right now. We're starting to see some community develop amongst worship leaders here in the city, which is cool. Starting to formulate some small groups around the city just because Jacksonville is so large, making sure that everybody's getting connected. So starting to map out and direct kind of some small groups to start meeting amongst worship leaders in different parts of the city. In addition to that, I'm walking with a couple of churches right now that are getting ready to plant, have young worship leaders working out mentor options for those guys and just figuring out what's the best next steps for them. And then probably the most recent thing that is kind of just taking place and growing is our network of Spanish churches here in Jacksonville and working with some of the Spanish worship leaders to help build and equip those networks in the city. So we're excited for what the Lord is doing here amongst pastors and worship leaders in Jacksonville, and grateful to be a part of this community.